And moving on to our last game of the night here, Nate, we have the Warriors headed to Denver, taking on Jokic and the Nuggets. They do have Michael Jordan Poole do the Warriors, so you got to feel good about their chances right now. The kid's fifth in scoring in the playoffs at nearly 30 points a game. Also putting on a bit of a Harlem Globetrotter style show with his flashy passing in this last one. Yeah, they're just having a good time. Steph's coming off the bench, man. That's terrifying. Like, Steph Curry is already instant offense, and now you're going to put him in the role of creating instant offense. That's what you expect him to do. Yeah, sounds good, right? 34 points off the bench. So I think we have a lot to dissect in this one, but a lot of it starts with, can the Nuggets come close to stopping this offense? And if they can't even come close to stopping it, who is going to generate offense for them outside of Jokic, who only has 10 assists combined in these first two games?
Yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, it is kind of a simple. I mean, there's just plenty to talk about, but you can simply start with Denver is number 1 in 3-point defense on the road this season and 23rd at home, and They gave up 120 points per game in their last 10 home games here, playing with a 120 defensive rating, 10 points worse than they were on the road. So if they had that much trouble stopping the Warriors on the road, now we go back home where, yeah, like you mentioned, the avalanche is coming. Steph hitting threes, telling everybody he's back. He might re-enter the starting lineup, but either way, then you have Jordan Poole coming off the bench, and he's been on fire. So really, it's about. I mean, I think you're getting incredible value here for the Warriors -2. Now it's -2.5, but it's not getting bet up that quickly. Josh, you should probably take a break right after this and get your bet in.
Thank you.
But series spread 4 games, aka a sweep, is +195. You could maybe go hedge that with 5 games at +150, but I don't know if Denver can get a game here. I mean, they could if the Warriors just go cold from 3, but with those 3 guys, those 3 splash bros now, it's hard to get all of them to go cold. And another interesting market at FanDuel, Steph is +185 to have the most threes in the series. Right now he's tied with Clay with 8, and Poole has 10. He has a little head start, but Steph, if he's going to hit a bunch of threes and tell everybody he's back, you should probably listen to the man and back his shooting. I mean, the job that the Warriors have done defensively on Joker is incredible. We mentioned it before the series started that Draymond has kept him in check, held him to about 25 points per game in his career. And now, they're doing a great job giving Draymond support. And they're back to that elite defensive team that we saw that went under at such a high clip on the road at the beginning of the season. Of course, they didn't have all 3 of these guys now, so it is a little questionable whether we're going to go over. So I think, just like we're saying with the Jazz, I would rather take the Warriors team total. It's 112 than the total for this entire game. But with such a negligible spread, it's not a hard decision to just say, I'll take the Warriors to win, by at least 2 points. And just rounding out that Joker talk. I mean, a 111 offensive rating for him in these first 2 games is a huge drop off. He was about a 137 down the stretch, the reigning MVP doing what he does. He posted a +19 during the regular season against the Dubs when he's on the floor, and he's a -45 in these first 2 games because Draymond didn't play in any of those regular season games. And in the playoffs, you can really gamble on just making somebody else beat you. The Warriors, so seasoned, they know how to do that. And right now, the Nuggets don't have anybody else who can beat them. And I think with the Bulls winning a game last night at the Bucks, the Nuggets are officially the worst team in the playoffs. So bet against them.
That's so sad and true. All the last of the bits that you just threw out there. It sucks. I mean, everyone owes DeMar an apology. Not us. We never talk trash on DeMar on this show. But everyone else does, because he went clear off last night to be the best player in that game. So shout out to him. But I mean, this is not the Denver Nuggets of the first 2 months of the season. It's wild how big of a difference that they, in terms of their offensive or their defensive effectiveness and impact at home to start the season. First 2 months, we're talking a top 2 defense at home. Actually, the best defensive rating for the first 2 months of the season, from the first game through the month of December, and then giving up the second least amount of points at home, only second to the Warriors, which is not surprising. Which leads you to understand why it was not surprising that the Dubs were able to hold Jokic and company in check. But yeah, I lean. It's interesting because I lean Warriors team total over. I'm not leaning Nuggets team total under in this game like I was in the other 2 games, but that is what we were calling, which is also why we were happily calling for a blowout. Not at least in double digit spreads were not really scary in those first 2 games, right? In this one, you still expect the Dubs to be able to score, and that's what we said. Is the question is, if the Nuggets are not going to be able to score, which we don't think they're going to. I think they'll be better. Role players are generally better at home as well. Will Barton is currently their second best offensive player, and obviously probably second best player at this point. And he scored 12 in that last game and looked completely disinterested, to be honest with you. And Monta Morris just still. I mean, he was doing all right. He had some nice shots here and there, but also I think he had 12 points as well. So there's just no help for Joker, and he's going to come out firing tonight. I'm not willing to take an under on him anymore at 51.5, but points, rebounds, and assists, I would say. But I'm not scared of it. I'm not telling you anybody not to take it, because Draymond on him right now is a problem, and he's also in his head with just how annoying he's being, as you saw Joker get tossed in that game too. But yeah, you look at what Dre's done when he's guarding Joker, in this series especially, just keeping him, keeping his like you said, his offensive rating down to about what it was 111 individually, where we've seen games where he's had like 134 individual offensive rating, and so it's just really why their team offensive rating is also just at 113, and that's just not going to cut it against a Dubs team who they're also playing really well on defense for sure, but it's about the fact that you're not going to be able to hang with them right now on offense. It's completely insane that they're a duo named the Splash Brothers, with the 2 greatest shooters of all time, have their third compadre come along with the last name of Poole. That's wild, but it's continuing to work, and it's going to continue to work, man. There's no perimeter defense for Denver right now that can handle that, and they were limiting teams to an incredible 3-point percentage, incredibly low 3-point percentage to start the season. Just not the case anymore at home, and I don't think there's much to like for them or much hope. The only last thing I would say here before I close my point about that is, it is a team down 2-0. That is the most profitable bet in the NBA in the last 3 or 4 seasons in the playoffs, is when a home team comes back to their spot down 2-0 in game 3, they're going to win. They're going to cover the first quarter or the first half. If not both, at least that first quarter, because they're just going to come out roaring, and they have everything to play for, and they have their crowd behind them. It worked in that Toronto Philly game, which Toronto nearly pulled off, but couldn't. But they did win those the first quarter and the first 2 quarters against the spread. I would consider it here just because it's them playing for their lives. But at the end of the day, that the game is going to end with the Dubs pulling this one out.
Yeah, if you like them to start strong, then look at the live betting for the Warriors, because that third quarter avalanche is back. You put in the death lineup, the new death lineup with 3 Splash Bros, Wiggins and Draymond, now a 129 net rating in 22 minutes this series. They can just go to that, or they can throw Iggy in there too. And like I said, he doesn't need to score at all to just be part of that avalanche that they will even produce on the road. And yes, a team down 2-0 has a lot of fight in them, but I mean, did the Clippers have a lot of fight in them in this play-in game, or did they lay down because they basically are waiting for next season because one of their best players tore his ACL? Because that's the exact same situation we're in now. And if you say Will Barton looked dejected or disinterested, the entire Nuggets staff staff and players should be just like, okay, yeah, I mean, we're gunning for the championship in 2023. Like, we don't have a chance this year. They should know that. It's just, it's completely out of reach. They're so thin, and they're going up against maybe the deepest team we have now that they have all these guys healthy. And there's just so many weapons that Steve Kerr can throw at them. Whereas, the Nuggets are just relying on their MVP and not much else. And, you got to think that the Warriors, as a playoff veteran team, are so aware of that 2-0 history. And I mean, they've had plenty of history of just sweeping teams, pounding teams, not giving them the room to get up and get some confidence. And they could definitely use that extra rest if they're able to win this series quickly and then get ready for Memphis and Minnesota after they duke it out.
Absolutely. It's going to be probably a fun game. I think at least it'll be fun when the Dubs are on offense. They're kind of back to that super fun style of play that sort of made them the darlings of the league. And I think they might be back to that. I don't really care if Steph's coming off the bench or not. Draymond on Joker, two superstars out for Denver, and the Dubs offense rolling. I think they're keen to get this series over with as fast as they can, as they're about to play the winner of a series in this next round that will be probably a grinded out series, as we talk about that Memphis-Minnesota series there. And the winner will play the Dubs next. And I think if they get that, like you say, if they get that sweep and get some time off, this team is definitely good with rest. So I think that would help them there. And that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Continue to bring you guys each and every playoff game video, as well as that player props video. We love to bring you each and every day. So until we see you next, happy betting.